Hello everyone and welcome back to Lucky Loaders 15, where I'll be giving you 5 of my best bets for tomorrow's race in action. And before we get stuck into those, we'll just do a quick recap on how today's selections went. We would have come out with a small profit on our tips today. Those profits would have come from bungee jump on the each way money, finished second at Goodwood in the Cathedral Stakes. I thought he ran a really good race for Ross Ryan and Grace Harris, who is an underestimated trainer. She's quite a good trainer with a small string. But this horse, she gave her all, and in the end she just lost out to Elizabeth from Martin Meads. But at 12 to 1, I saw out there just before the off. If you were able to get that price, she definitely gave you a good run for the money from the each way selection, and she finished in second place. So that was a good effort there. And then also as well, we've made it back to back lays now with Kings of Ice. If you've followed the new format, of where I'm now doing lays and recommending lays for the Betfair exchange. Our lay of the day was Kings of Vice in the 340 at Doncaster. He finished in second place, and it was a really nice victory by Red Verdon. My angle against him is that I think he's quite exposed now, and we know his limitations. We know he does stay well, but he's a horse last season that was a rapid improver through the handicaps, and now he's mixing it up in pattern company, which I think he can do. I just think he's gonna be exposed, and I think he was worth taking on at the prices, and obviously that came into good effect. So that's where our small profits would have come from today. Elsewhere, our nap Glentees, even though it was only a free runner race, I do look a bit foolish for tipping in a free runner race, but Glentees, yeah, very disappointing, I thought, in the end. Don't think he would have won, even though there was a lot of interference from Mosheen Murphy on his horse Fred Walker. That went in our favour yesterday, the interference, because our nap was Well of Wisdom, funnily enough. So it's interesting how on both days of the weekend we've kind of been at both ends of the spectrum on that aspect of racing. Yeah, quite disappointing with Glentees. But Joe Fannin, I thought, yeah, he probably wouldn't have got back up, even though the horse, he was still finding a little bit, but I don't think it would have been enough. I think Ed Walker's horse was always in control, and that's how that selection ended. And then our nap, Spirit de Bailey's, the money was down for him. We put him up last night on the early price of 9-2, went off at 15 to 8, and not sure what happened really. Maybe the run was too bad to be true. Was from the front early on, and Sylvester wasn't happy. Maybe there's a little niggle with the horse that might come to light in the comments after. So hopefully he's okay. But yeah, something I think maybe went slightly amiss there, because the money was down for him, and he should have relished going up in trip. But yeah, I wouldn't be too surprised if something comes to light after that run. But that's how our tips went today. And like I said, we would have just come out with a small profit on the lay bet, and also as well the long shot. So hopefully we can continue that form into tomorrow, and that'll be 4 days in a row if we can get some profits on tomorrow. So we've got Royal Ascot coming up ahead as well. So make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel by subscribing in below, and you always get a notification when I upload a video. And we'll be doing loads of Royal Ascot videos throughout the week, and I'll be giving you my thoughts and feelings and giving you a selection for each one of the races at Royal Ascot, and hopefully we can have a good week. But enough of me waffling on now. You want to get into the business end of things for tomorrow. And we're going to start actually in the 3:45 at Goodwood. We have a bit of a wait tomorrow. Didn't fancy much on the early racing. But in the 3:45 at Goodwood, I'm going with another Mark Johnson horse. This is going to be my extra bet, and I'm going with a horse here called Bondi Sands. Now, we put him up last week, but I said that I would follow him in again next time he runs. He's currently 5 to 1, best price I've seen on the early prices at the moment, and he's trained by Mark Johnston and Joe Fanning's but for the ride. Now, I remember seeing this horse at Goodwood last year when he made his debut in the parade ring. And he's a huge horse. He's a son of Australia. And I always thought this year he would be one to follow in handicaps. He's a really big horse, and I could see him over a long trip doing really well and being really effective. Even though he didn't show too much as a 2-year-old, he was always going to be a 3-year-old. And last time I thought he ran okay over a trip that was far too short for him. He went over 1.5 miles last time out, and he's stepping up in trip to 1.6 miles. And I think if he gets an easy lead tomorrow, we might see a typical Joe Fannin ride, controlling it all from the front. and I think he could be seen to good effect. There are one or two possible dangers in here. Maybe the Rafe Beckett horse could give our selection a run for its money, so that's probably going to be the main danger tomorrow. And I think Oisin Murphy's on another, possibly Ed Walker horse as well, which would terrify us if he comes there travelling on the bridle. But yeah, Bondi Sands I still think has a lot to offer as a 3-year-old in the handicaps this season, and I think this will definitely be his trip, or even 2 miles in time. I think he's definitely going to want every inch of a trip. And yeah, 5-1, I think it's not bad value there, and I'm just going to recommend a win-only bet. So that's going to be Loaders Extra. We then go to my nap, which is going to be in the opening race at Chepstow in the 4:55. Now I'm going to go with a horse here called Ocean Star, which is currently 9-4 at the time of recording. And this horse is trained by Archie Watson and Holly Doyle. Both have started the season extremely well. Are going at Chepstow tomorrow in the opening race. Now this horse was quite well fancied to run a big race at Yarmouth last time out, behind a horse of Michael Bell's called Learjet. But yeah, Learjet was the one that won that race, I should have said. And yeah, the 5th place at Yarmouth was maybe a little bit disappointing because there was a bit of money down, but he did shape quite nicely in the end, and I just think he needed the run. Archie Watson's 2-year-olds, even though obviously the market normally knows quite a lot about them, they obviously haven't been able to get the barrier trials into them, and a lot of his early forward 2-year-olds, he's probably missed the boat on them because obviously because of the lockdown he hasn't been able to get them out as early as he would have liked. But they have been running well, his horses, to be fair. And I don't think there's too much to worry in this race tomorrow. Time scale for Rafe Beckett is the one on paper anyway that looks like it could be the danger. But I wasn't really impressed at all by the Newmarket performance. I don't think she would have learnt a lot really, even though she was slowly away. I just thought it was a very... I thought she's still very inexperienced, and I think she's going to be more of a better 3-year-old than she is a 2-year-old. And Rafe Beckett isn't normally a trainer that I normally steam into with two-year-old winners. So yeah, I think Ocean Star tomorrow will come forward a lot from that run at Yarmouth, and I think that form will work out quite nicely. And also as well, from the mould that I've got in the Archie Watson yard from my sources, they do like this horse, and it was beating the likes of Science and the Gallops. There was a well fancied Archie Watson horse earlier in the month. So yeah, I think Ocean Star tomorrow at 9-4 represents quite a bit of value, and that's going to be my nap of the day. We then go to my next best, which is in the 6:25 at Chepstow with a horse called Chitra, and this horse is currently 11-2 with bookmakers at the moment. I'm going to recommend the Dirt Each Way here, and this horse is trained by Dan Kubler and Richard Kingscote's booked for the ride. Now when they book Kingscote for this horse, he's got a great record, 5 wins from 7 starts. It's a really admirable horse, and it goes very well fresh, and it's going to be making its first appearance of the season tomorrow. Now I didn't think this was a particularly strong race on paper, and Chitra, in my opinion, has kept better company last season. And even though he is running off maybe possibly a high mark of 78, I still think it's exploitable. He finished second off this mark last year at Goodwood, so he can run to a high level. And I just didn't think there was a lot in here that had scope for development. I thought a lot of them were exposed, whereas this horse, I think there was a bit more leniency off his mark, and we know he can go well fresh. And Dan Cooper as well, the yard had their first winner not so long ago, so I think they're going to start coming into a little bit more form now, and with Kingscote coming to Chepstow to ride this horse, and with the record fresh, I think there's a lot of things in this horse's favour, and I think it'll go off favourite tomorrow. I could see it going around about 3-1. So if you still can get the 11-2, I recommend the Dirty Each Way tactic, and hopefully that can get the job done for us at Chepstow there. We then go over the RSC with our long shot tomorrow in the 7:15 at Roscommon. Now we're going with a horse here called New Vocation. Now this horse is currently 10-1, and I'm going to recommend the each way bet here. And this horse is trained by Michael Mulvaney, and Gary Carroll is booked for the ride tomorrow. Now this horse, last time we saw it, finished 4th at Leopardstown when making its stable debut. It used to be trained by Jim Bolger, but it's interesting that it's gone to Michael Mulvaney, an underrated trainer in my opinion. He does quite well with the ammunition he has, and this horse plugged on quite fair really last time out when she finished 4th at Leopardstown. That was over a mile, and her form really suggests that she wants a bit further than this, over a mile and 2, and I think she'll come forward for that run. And over this trip, she's got a good record at it. On her penultimate start of last season, she won quite well at Nace over this trip, so it's definitely going to favour her tomorrow, I think, going back up in trip. And there's a lot of horses in here again that are exposed, not sure if they'll like the trip. It could be short for them. There's quite a lot of stayers in this race, and a lot of them might not be fit as well. They might need the run and might come forward for it, whereas this mare, she's had a run. The yard, even though they haven't had a winner yet, a couple of their horses have been going okay, and I think going back up in trip will suit this horse a lot. So at 10 to 1, I think this horse has a good chance of going very close tomorrow, and that's why it's going to be my long shot bet. We then go and we end with my lay tomorrow, which comes in the 8.25 at Chepstow, and I'm going with a horse here called Johhny Kid. Now, this horse is trained by David Probert, and Andrew Bolden is booked for the ride. Now, this horse, I'm against it tomorrow. You can lay it currently at 3.5 on the Betfair exchange, and last time we saw it, it finished second at Yarmouth. Now, this horse was hanging really badly, and it lost against Charlie Fellow's horse called Dubious Affair, who had moved previously from Sir Michael Stout's yard. Now, Johhny Kid, I'm really not sure if he wants to go up further in trip, and I think they should be applying some equipment on him, maybe some cheek pieces or something, because he was hanging really badly. I recommend anyone to go back and watch the race in replay, and that race was over 1.6 miles, and he's going up tomorrow to 2 miles by a couple of extra furlongs. And he hasn't got the proven stamina for this, and I'm really against him tomorrow. And even though Andrew Bolden and David Probert are in good form, I just think he's worth taking on, and he's worth a lay. So at 3.5, I think that's not a bit of bad value there to lay this horse. And I think he'll be a weak favourite tomorrow if he does remain at the top end of the market. I could see him drifting, and I would like to take him on by some horses that we know can stay. They've got a good record at Chepstow, and also as well will have a run under their belt. So for me, Johhny Kid, he's going to be my lay of the day tomorrow, and hopefully he can continue our good record on the lays. And if you haven't, you're not aware and you're watching this video for the very first time, if you want some free bets for the Betfair exchange, definitely would recommend it. There's a £20 free bet link in the description box below, and if you click that link and sign up to the Betfair exchange, you'll get a £20 free bet on the Betfair exchange. So I recommend you do that, and if you do that as well, please make sure you gamble responsibly. But just doing a quick recap of tomorrow's tips, our 5 tips for tomorrow: in the 3.45 at Goodwood, Loaders Extra, Bondi Sands 5 to 1 win bet. We then go to my nap in the 4.55 at Chepstow with a horse called Ocean Star 9 to 4 win only bet. We then go to the 6.25 at Chepstow with Chitra 11 to 2 as my next best, dirt each way, so that's that tip. And we then go across the RSC for the long shot in the 7.15 at Roscommon with new Vocation 10 to 1 each way. And then we end with my lay of the day in the 8.25 at Chepstow, Johhny Kid 3.5 to lay on the Betfair exchange, and that's going to round things off for tomorrow. So if you haven't done so already, please make sure you hit the subscribe button for more videos here on my YouTube channel. You can also follow me on Twitter as well using my handle at LuckyLoaders15. It's the best place to follow me on social media. And if you want to find out more about myself and check out a full portfolio of my work, check out my website. There's a link in the description box below, which is www.chrisloaderracing.co.uk. So please gamble responsibly. Hopefully we can have some more winners tomorrow and some more success, and we'll be seeing you soon.